Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's Cynicalex, and today we're going to be taking a look at Captain Marvel's new uniform, The Last Avenger, the first villain uniform for Carol Danvers. Now, there's a lot of things that people are curious about for this uniform, how it performs in PvE content, ABX, World Boss Legend, World Boss Ultimate, Squad Battle, but also PvP. There's a lot to get to, so I'm going to try and put as much of that as I can in this video, except ABX because it's impossible to test today because it's Blast Villain, but I'll try to get everything else. However, there's a couple of things. You want to test this uniform versus her last best uniform, which is this one, even though the big difference is that she's hero this one and villain with the last one. Keep in mind, however, I actually completely forgot about this, the old uniform has a 15% increase damage dealt to villains and a 10% decrease. So everybody was raving about her new uniform bonus, which is definitely better. 50% is definitely a lot bigger than 15 and 10, but it's not like she's going from 0 to 50. She's going from 15 to 50 and then from 10 to 50. Again, still a big buff, but it's not like she was starting at nothing. And then the damage reduction went from 5% to 40%. So yes, she does get some pretty bananas numbers. But the other big thing that I want to talk about actually off the top is her rotation. So if you're familiar with Captain Marvel's old rotation, if especially you played it for ABX, it's extremely complicated. Her old rotation is extremely complicated. Now, I'm not sure if her new rotation is going to be very complicated for ABX, but I can tell you that her new rotation is much more... It's still not proc friendly, like it was never proc friendly before, but it's definitely closer to being proc friendly this time around. You're going to start off with the 5th skill. You can either cancel it right away or cancel it as soon as it triggers her rage, if you have a rage. And then you're going to go into 2, cancel 4, let 4 play out until the last punch, and then go into 3 and then let 3 play out completely. Like her old ABX rotation, you may be able to do some variation of 5. I couldn't cancel there. There's a lot of hits on 5. There's just not a lot of damage on 5, unfortunately. But yeah, you could do a variation of 5, cancel 2 into 4, and then as 4 is playing out, you could do 2, cancel 1, cancel 3 to build up her tier 3. And then again, as 3 is ending, you could do 2, cancel 1, cancel 4, but you could splash in 5 again. So that's kind of the main difference, is that they've reduced her cooldown on 5 significantly. Like 14 seconds is super duper short. So technically, with multiple skills with 14-second cooldowns, you can play her with a regular proc. I'm not saying you should play her with a regular proc, but you absolutely can. You could do 5 cancel, 2 cancel, 4 proc, and then play 3 later on, because that's every 7 seconds. So that lines up perfectly with a proc. You also want to keep in mind that for her old uniform, again, to compare, it was a 35-second cooldown. So they more than halved the cooldown on her 5th skill. It's bananas. It's really crazy. She plays much more like a traditional character. The only difference being, unlike some other traditional characters that stack their damage on 5 or stack their damage on 4, her damage is all on 3 and 4. Notably, the skills that haven't changed. 5 is really just for that frenzy buff. So I sort of wanted to start the video with that to highlight that. Now I'm going to jump into a little bit of content here just to highlight how much stronger this new uniform is. Again, we've been beating up on Cull Obsidian a lot lately, but we're going to jump in with an equalized playing field. We're not going to give preferential buffs to Carol, and we're going to see what she can do old uniform versus new uniform. All right, so here we go. We're going to use Ebony Maw and Taskmaster for supports with her lead. I know Ebony's lead is a little bit better than Carol's, but it's okay. And we're basically just going to play the first 30 seconds of the fight so you can see how she does. So I'm going to do 5 into 2 into 4, and then I'm going to do 3 there. You can see her 2 actually doesn't come up quite fast enough. We're going to play off the 5 until it comes off cooldown. We're going to get snared here, which is kind of annoying, but it's okay. You can show off her crazy survivability. And the other thing is her tier 3 has gotten a big boost in damage, which is something that you're going to have to get used to. You're going to have to find a place in the rotation for her 6th skill, because it actually does damage now. Yeah, her 6th skill actually hits harder now. So there we go. In 30 seconds, she was able to basically halve his HP, which I think is super impressive. Definitely way better and super duper tanky. You can see there she basically didn't take any damage, despite the fact that she got snared, got bled, and then got hit a bunch of times by Ebony, or by Cull Obsidian. Ebony helps, of course. But now we're going to jump into this one. The buffs remain the same. It's literally exactly the same build. Nothing's different, except she does lose the damage increase against villains and the damage decrease. So, of course, that's a big one there. That support, obviously, you can't really account for because it's part of the uniform. It's built in. But you can see here the rotation is completely different. we're gonna do it like this, and then we're gonna go back into 2, and then we're gonna go into 3, and then we're gonna die. Okay, wow. Okay, I wasn't intending to die. We'll try that again, and we'll try not to die. That was a shocker. Yeah. Well, survivability is definitely something that Captain Marvel lacks with this uniform, and as you can see, it's night and day with her old uniform, with her new uniform. Excuse me. Okay, we're just gonna move away from. Oh, am I gonna die again? No. Okay. The tier 3 skill here is not going to do any damage. Just going to try to stay away from those poison clouds. And I'm gone. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, survivability is a huge issue for her with this old uniform. And you can see there we got to about 12 bars. She's about 3.5 bars behind. I did waste a little bit of time dodging mechanics, so maybe she would have gotten down to 11 bars, but she's still 2 to 3 bars slower. So I don't really need to do any more comparisons between the old uniform and the new uniform. If you want your Captain Marvel to perform at her absolute highest, this uniform is a must-buy for Carol. She gets a huge bump defensively, despite not having a heal. She's like ridiculously tanky now, ridiculously tanky. And on top of that, much smoother rotation. You know, her rotation is much more similar to just like, you know, a 5-2-4-3, whereas the old rotation was like 5-2-4-2-3-2-1-4-2-3-6. Like it was very convoluted. She had one of the most complicated rotations out of any other Rage character because of all the spamming of 1 and 2 in between 4 and 3. It was very hard to follow along with, and I think that's why a lot of people just didn't really like Captain America Endgame, because her damage wasn't very high, and when it was, you had to just, you know, really adhere to this extremely strict rotation. But yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to compare her in squad battle, because this is one of the other big changes. Now, originally, I was going to run Cosmic Ghost Rider here, but instead, I'm just going to show you, with my character bonus, I was able to get, and with my build and whatever, I have a PvP build on Molecule Man, but I was able to get 1.2 million on auto. So I'm just going to show you that here. We're going to fast forward. I'm going to show you just the end clip of me playing with Cosmic Ghost Riders to show you what he gets there in the last phase against Surtur and how challenging that can be. And then we'll go in and I'll show you the last phase versus CM versus Surtur. Okay, so here we go. 4 minutes later, Cosmic Ghost Rider versus Surtur. Let's do our best to get this right. Now, Cosmic Ghost Rider, if you guys don't know, is notoriously difficult to play because of the accumulation. He's sort of like Sharon Rogers on steroids. He has a very quirky skill set. He doesn't have a lot of things going for him defensively, and you're just trying to accumulate, and then just wham bam with the damage, but also with the residual fire damage that he leaves on some of his skills. Like there on the second skill with that pool of lava, and then here on the 5th skill with this other pool of lava. So yeah, but we're already past the score that we had established with Molecule Man, so I'm pretty confident we can set a decent high score here. I think anything around 3 million is probably going to be good, but let's see here. Don't have a lot of practice lately with Cosmic Ghost Rider, so I'm a bit rusty. Ah, we got stunned there. That happens, yeah. We get interrupted. We get guard broken. Nice. Nice and awesome. Yeah. Cosmic Ghost Rider, unfortunately, never really got the changes that we were hoping he would get. He remains a character with a lot of untapped potential who could not realize his potential. But you can see he can hit over 1 million per hit when you get the accumulation to really rock out. Question is, can you get the accumulation to really rock out? It's exceedingly difficult, I will say that. You got to stay right in front of Surtur, but you don't want to get stunned. You don't want to take too much damage because his heal is okay, but not, you know, foolproof. And his defenses are rather low. He's tier 2, etc., etc. Trying to squeeze in one more hit. So we got 2.9 million. That's not bad. It's not great. It's definitely not great score. It's definitely not a top score with Cosmic Ghost Rider, but it's okay. 2,900. So we're going to take that 2,900 and we're now going to compare it to Captain Marvel. And again, just for the sake of squad battle being so monotonous in the first 2 rounds, we're just going to skip the first 2 rounds. Oh, so here we go. Round 3, Captain Marvel versus Surtur. This was not planned by me. This was all accidental, but yeah, I mean, go with it, right? So here we go. Pop the tier 3. Get all that damage. Let's grab these here. So when we have our rage proc up, we're just going to cancel 5 immediately, sort of thing. And then we just need to collect these before they expire. Let that rock out. Hit that up. Nice. Proc there. And I'm actually doing 5 before 2, even though they both have buffs, because 2's buff only lasts a base amount of time of 4 seconds. That does get increased to 5 seconds with her passive, her binary passive, but 5 seconds is still pretty short. So we are already almost at the score that we had set with Ghost Rider previously. See what that 5 can do. Not bad. Okay. Four is not off cooldown yet, so we'll cancel 3 into 4 when it is ready. Okay. Oh, we got stunned. Wow. So 4.68 million. This was actually my first try. So I got about 1.7 million, just under 1.7 million. So I almost doubled the score on my first try. And again, I've played Captain Marvel a handful of times since she came out, so I can more than likely improve my score, improve my ranking with her, which makes her easily the best character for this. And there's going to be players that are going to be able to hit way higher than 4.7 million. So that is something to consider if you are into squad battle, if you do like pushing for rank 1. It's definitely going to give you a lot. You can see this guy here got 3 million. And then if you see, okay, everybody's using, okay, there, 1 million with Molecule Man. So yeah, you can expect anywhere from like 1 to 2 million with Molecule Man, 2 to 3 million with Cosmic Ghost Rider, unless you have an insane build or you're like a godly player, you get super lucky with the accumulation. And then, you know, anywhere from 4 million to maybe 6 million with Captain Marvel. So she easily doubles, triples some of the scores. Now, let's take a look. We can take a look briefly at what she can do in PvP, because believe it or not, even with a rage build, I can do some stuff with her in PvP. So let's go check it out. Okay, so we're going to start off first on manual. And the thing you need to know about Captain Marvel for PvP, I think, is that you're still going to want to play her manually rather than, or not manually, sorry. You're still going to want to play her not in the first slot. You're going to want to play her in the second slot. And the reason why I say that is because you are going to need to give her a little bit of time cooldown wise, but as you can see, she not only has enough damage to kill here, but because she can hang in an iframe, she can actually make it really hard. So look at this. I'm able to chain iframes here, and she could sort of do this with her old uniform, but not as effectively as she does now. You can chain iframes between 5 and 4, and essentially, if the character doesn't have iframe ignore, they're dead. And in the case of Sentry, sometimes you're just going to have to, that's a 3rd ranked player right now, sometimes you're just going to have to bait out his attack. Let's see how she does against Silver Surfer. I actually haven't tried her, but she's actually not bad at all. And I'm actually curious to see what she'll be able to do if I give her a Destruction, because that is her sort of natively best CTP, because of the fact that it has guard break immunity and it has penetration, which she doesn't normally have. So yeah, we're just going to do 5 right at the... Oh! If he does anything but 5, we're going to just punish him with 4. And so yeah, all we have to do is bait out the third skill and then punish. And then we can just chain that into 5. As you can see there, he might wake up and we not. Oh, I was gonna say he might wake up and kill us to reflect because that 5th skill has a long animation. There you go. So she's not bad at all. She's kind of back on top. That, honestly, 40% damage reduction for a universal type is huge. I really can't understate that. It's what made Icarus tanky. It's what makes so many universal types so tanky, because they don't take any extra damage. So if you have a flat 40% reduction, it really goes a long way to making a character just super duper tanky. Now what I want to try to do here is, instead, I'm going to throw her on auto. Why does that guy have Colossus if he has Molecule Man? That makes no sense to me. I don't want to fight a double support team, but you could definitely do a double support team with her, and she could do well because it'll give her even more burst damage. But here, let's try this guy, Dijon Mustard. Yeah, I know. So let's jump in here. We're gonna throw it on auto. I'm gonna let him kill my sentry once. Shouldn't take too long. And then as soon as my sentry dies, we'll throw it on auto and we'll switch. She might not do anything. Oh, that was the wrong auto. Okay, anyways, this is fine. Oh, she got guard broken. Third skill. Pops into the 5. Nice. Punishes with the 5. Doesn't get guard broken. The other thing is she has super armor now. Super armor is huge. She actually opens with the 4 and finishes him off. And again, this is all with a rage. She's going to struggle against Silver Surfer on auto. Anybody who has tons of iframes. I mean, a lot of characters actually suffer against Silver Surfer on auto. Because he has a reflect, right? So if your character does some dumb rotation, you're bound to die. But she actually took out that sentry fully on auto. You can see how much tankier she is. She doesn't get the damage reduction against heroes, but if you fight villains, like here, we can go ahead and fight that guy that had Molecule Man. Like, Molecule Man can't even touch her. Okay, you guys want to see something really funny? Let's check this out. So Molecule Man is gonna remove Colossus's passive, but he doesn't remove Ebony's. So with Ebony's passive and her passive, she has 50% decreased damage from villains stacked on top. Actually, you know what? Molecule Man might ignore that. Yeah, you know what? Molecule Man does ignore that, but he doesn't ignore. Dang it. Okay. Anyways, the point I was trying to make was Molecule Man does like a hilariously low amount of damage to her, but it would be someone like Hulk. Hulk would do a ridiculously low amount of damage to Captain Marvel. So if you have difficulty fighting Hulk, Captain Marvel is going to make your day, because she's basically not going to take any damage from Hulk. 50% villain reduction plus a 40% damage reduction is like your own Colossus. If you put Colossus as well on the team against a Hulk team, it's going to be like a joke. There she tanks. She's so tanky, dude. Well, this is with a rage. So imagine she had a regen, or I mean, a destruction is not going to add to her survivability. So I think the big question for her for PV, I think she has a legitimate shot at being like the 4th or 5th best PvP character. And if we start to get more good villains in PvP, like a lot of the good villains in PvP have faded away, like Thanos and Dormammu. But if any of those characters come back, or if we get new villains like Annihilus, Kang, you know, Beyonder, if we get new villains that come out and they're ruling PvP, she's going to be a crazy counter to them, because she's legitimately good now for PvP. The question is just going to be whether you want to go more tanky with a regen, or you want to go all offense with a destruction. But I honestly think either option can work for her. Authority might work as well. Authority's not a bad option either, but you can still get punished by players who have ways to kind of punish her for that. So this video is going kind of long, so I decided we're going to leave the World Boss Legend Showcase for another video. I'm going to sort of perfect her rotation here, and maybe I'll sandwich that in with an ABX video if that's warranted against Supergiant. But for now, I think it's an interesting case with Captain Marvel. Again, not everybody cares about PvP. Not everybody cares about squad battle. They're probably some of the lower ranked game modes in terms of participation and in terms of player interest. And I can see that in my videos as well. So I know that, again, it's no knock to the game or whatever. It's just these game modes are not as exciting as World Boss Legend, as you know, GBR, etc. But she is very, very good for both. She's best now for universal female villain squad battle. Well, sorry, universal villain human, not female, human, because if it was universal female villain, then Supergiant or Proxima. But yeah, if it's human universal villain, she is the number 1. And for PvP, she's actually not bad at all. She's actually not bad at all, and she is definitely a lot stronger for World Boss Legend, and World Boss Ultimate, which I showed you guys, and she'll definitely be better for World Boss Legend with that crazy 50-50 buff, because that always applies in World Boss Legend. So I can't wait to show you guys more, but I honestly think this uniform is another one, sort of like Blue Marvel, where if you have any interest in playing with Captain Marvel, this uniform's a must-buy. Is this uniform a must-buy for every player under every circumstance? No. But if you have her tier 3 and you don't have a ton of other tier 3s, I think it's a nice pickup, because not only does it turn her into a villain, which gives you more flexibility with your gameplay, but it makes her a lot better, a lot tankier, and she hits a lot harder, and she has a much easier to learn and master rotation. So hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.